Hey everybody, I'm that one guy, and I wanted to create a series of videos to go over the Weakauaras I've created. The whole purpose of the Weakauaras is obviously to help you better understand your spec and hopefully help you play better as a result, but also to gamify the game. Because WoW does present you with some spell alerts for the specs you play, but not all. And so that leaves you looking for ways to identify if a certain buff or debuff is active. And that's where Weakauaras can come in play. And I wanted to do more than just have an icon with a timer in it, right? I wanted to try to present you with visual effects that make it feel more like a video game and immerse you more into the spec you're playing. At least that's the idea. So in these videos, I'm going to go over the Weakauaras I've created, how I intend for them to work, and show you how you can modify them if you'd like. So whether you've already found my Weakauaras, or you're looking for some for a certain spec, or you just want to have a better idea of how Weakauaras work in general, hopefully these videos will help you with that. Windwalker Monk. Really fun, made some really cool stuff. Incredibly biased, of course, because I made it. But there's a lot of stuff. If I could make an opinion, it would just be to prune some stuff from Windwalker. There are a lot of things that I had to track, and even then I couldn't track everything. There's a lot of things to just be aware of as you're playing Windwalker, let alone like, the alternating between pushing your buttons, your energy, your ki, your chi, your chai, however you're going to pronounce that one. There's a lot of stuff they could do with some pruning and some condensing down and simplifying. I do like the complexity. I'm not saying make it super simple. Anyways, I digress. We're here to talk about the Weakauaras I made for Windwalker. So, like I said, looks like a lot. It is. And as you play through the different talents, though, you're not going to get everything all at the same time. It's going to be pieced to you. Some of it will be there at the same time, and then good for you to know the priority list. There isn't any tracking for, like, when they're off cooldown, I should say, for your Storm, Earth, and Fire, your Xuan, Exuian, again, however you pronounce one, and then your Celestial Conduit, if you're in that hero talent. So there are visuals to let you know they're active. That's for Storm, Earth, and Fire, and that's for Xuan. But nothing to let you know, hey, those are buff cooldown. So anything that's like 1.5 to 2 minutes, I usually leave up to the person controlling the character to keep track of those. Also, just because then the already overcapitalized real estate, screen real estate of all your buffs and stuff, there just gets a lot on there. So if you feel like I should add those, let me know in the comments below. I'll figure it out to make some cool icons. So let's start with the base stuff. When Storm, Earth, and Fire is active, you will see those. Again, I think is cool. Just kind of, resembling the three different elements, Storm, Earth, and Fire, that are active. And that's a timer at the bottom. It's pink because the icon is pink. But when that's gone, that means it's faded from you. So like during your opener, right, you use it, and I think you use it again right after it. So the moment it's gone is when those are gone, right? If you want a different way to track it, or again, if you want like, hey, can that pop up, be desaturated or kind of faded out to let me know it's off cooldown available? Maybe, yeah, could try to do that. I did that with Shadow Priest for Xuan. Someone wanted to know, like, because there's plenty of abilities with Conduit that summons Xuan, but basically anytime you've either summoned him from a proc or from using the ability, you'll see those claw marks right up there, right next to Storm, Earth, and Fire, right? Fist of Fury, okay, that cool, that icon, that fist, that punching, that blue icon appears right there. Rising Sun Kick, the orange, foot king thing would appear right there. When off cooldown and available to cast, right? So when you've done Fist of Fury and Whirling Dragon Punch, you'll see that, right? So obviously when it's available, meaning when you've used Fist of Fury and when you've used your Rising Sun Kick and it's off cooldown, you'll see that icon right there. And then Slicing Winds is that one. Again, that's stuff that I think looks cool. Like so far, I'm like, all right, that looks pretty sweet. Those are some cool images that feel very Windwalker Monk-esque. Just, there's a lot. And all of that, why it's in that location and stuff, is because it's right by your chi, ki, kai. Kai. Alright? Trust me, this is not too distracting, right? You'll be able to tell you have it. It's also not going to distract you from how much you have. And the reason it's yellow is a condition that I added, okay? In that, whenever you have over, I'm going to make this 85, and if you have an opinion on what it should be, whether you're super knowledgeable or just have a better idea, let me know. But basically, right in the rotation thing, it's like when you have less than 5, basically 4 or less, ki, chai, kai, and are close to capping on energy, you know, then you can use your Tiger Palm. I'm like, all right, well, you didn't give me an exact number, so I'm gonna say over 85, because that stuff kind of, you know, goes up pretty quickly. So when you get to over 85, by the time you actually could do something about it, you're probably over 90, getting close to 100, whatever. But basically, when that's true, when that condition in the rotation is true, when you have 4 or less, and you're nearly capping your energy, meaning you have over 85 of it, they'll turn yellow, right? Saying, hey, it's safe to use your Tiger Palm. Super helpful for me, because it's always like looking at the amount of energy I have and the G I have and what else is on cooldown or not on cooldown, and if I should cast it or not cast it, right? Helpful. The other one being just kind of a thing. When you have less than 30 energy, it'll turn red. Basically kind of letting you know, hey, you probably pushed it a few too many times and it's turned red now, so it's going to be a minute before you could even cast Tiger Palm. I could set that to be when it's below 60, since it costs you 60 energy, so that you know if it's red, I can't Tiger Palm. That might be more helpful than when it's below 30. I play Monk decently. By decently, I mean decent amount of time. If you main it hardcore and you feel like, no, I definitely better to know when it's below 60, let me know. I can change that, or you can change it yourself. You click on this ki, chi, kai, and you go to the conditions tab, and it's this third one, and you can change it. And same thing for when it turns yellow. You can delete those. It's not going to break it. You can delete the whole thing. You can right click and delete children to group. The rest of the Weakauaras will work. Or you can just change the conditions. You can change the color it changes to. You can change when that happens right here. Right, this is the amount of ki you have available to yourself, and this would be the amount of energy you have available to yourself. And when those are true, it'll turn yellow, and when this is true, it'll turn red. The amount of energy you have. Okay, so that's how you can do those. If you're talented into, I think it's the Emperor's Last Capacitor, but that's too many words. So if you're talented at the Emperor's Capacitor, when it is at its max stacks, right? So when you want to use it, you'll see this green lightning. When you have Dance of Chi-Ji, Ki-Ji, Kai-Jai, you'll see that it is for 1 and 2 stacks. This is something that I think Blizz gave you in the base UI, but I don't think they gave you like a stacks functionality. It's either you get both of them or not, and so that's again something that kind of prompted me into remaking a lot of the spell alerts and playing with 0% spell PCs, because yes, it's nice to know I have the buff, but how many stacks of it do I have? Because that's more important to me than just knowing I have it a lot of times. Same is true for Blackout Kick, right? It's going to be 1 stack and 2 stacks, right? So you'll know you have the buff and how many stacks of it you have. Strike of the Windlord, when that is off cooldown, you'll see this. Again, there are just a lot of little short cooldowns between Rising Sun Kick and Fist of Fury, and this is Slicing Winds if you're talented in that, and then also Strike of the Windlord, so it'll appear right around there. As you see here, you've got 4 different spell alerts all in a row, and you've got technically 4 spell alerts up here. Anyways, I can go on forever. Pressure Point, if you're talented into that. All right, after your Fist of Fury, your Rising Sun Kick, I think, does more crit. Basically, just that icon with a timer. Originally, there wasn't a timer, but it was such a short one that I'd like to know. But yeah, I could also change that to be a progress thing or desaturate or change colors. But basically, when the buff is active, you'll see that and the timer. Teachings of the Monastery goes up to 4 or 8, depending on the talent you take. And when it is at max stacks, 4 or 8, it will get larger and turn red, so that you know you've capped, right? So that you don't continue over capping, and you know to use your Blackout Kick. And then a cast bar, really just kind of helpful to know when you're channeling Fists of Fury, and also the Jade Lightning, the Crackling Jade Lightning, just to know how much is left on that. That's probably it. Or if you're just gonna hard cast Vivifies for some reason. And then the energy. So I do still have it, but I've noticed I rarely check it, if at all, because again, this up here is basically telling me, you know, if I care to use it, right? I know I can use it, and if it's red, I know I don't have enough energy for my Tiger Palm, but otherwise I'm really only tracking it for the purpose of, you know, should I Tiger Palm relative to how much energy I have, and am I close to capping? Important to know again that this is if it's less than 5 and over 85 energy. So obviously if you have 5 or more, it's not going to turn yellow, but if you'd like it to, just so you know when you're capped, again, can do so. You can either delete this line, or just add in a separate condition that's basically like, hey, if my energy is ever at 100%, then turn yellow. That way you know you're capped. But other than that, that's kind of what all this looks like for the base Windwalker. And again, I say a lot because it is. As for the 2 different hero talents, Shado-Pan, there's 2 things that it adds, or I guess really 3. 1, the number of flurry charges you have, right? Because when you get to 10, you'll get one of the Wisdom of the Wall buffs, and then your flurry strikes, which I found it's like 240 energy, but really it's every 4 Tiger Palms because that's 60 energy. So 1, 2, 3, and then your 4th one, if you're at 10 or whatever you're at for your flurry strikes, would activate that. And then whichever buff you have, this is where it gets a little tricky, and it's like if you played a lot, you'd know it a little better, but red is for the crit damage, and I have them labeled in here, as you can see. Yellow is for the increased crit chance, green is for the mastery, and then purple is that shadow AoE stuff that it adds to it. If you play with the hero talents and you see the Wisdom of the Wall buffs, that's what it's tracking, and that's kind of what I put there. So that's what that does for Shado-Pan. And then for Celestial Conduit, the only thing I felt like you needed to track, and again, you can disagree with me and say there's absolutely more stuff you need to know about, would just be Heart of the Jade Serpent. So when Heart of the Jade Serpent is active, you will see that right there, and obviously the timer for the duration of it. So that's it as far as like the base stuff for Windwalker plus the hero talents, and I'm going to go hit that dummy right over there for a little bit so you can kind of see what it looks like as you're playing with it. And then forgive me if I mess up anything. I'm totally going to forget about my cooldowns and things like that, but at least I'll be able to see what I'm tracking, and I'll try to change between the different talents and hero talents and stuff so you can see this too. I think I'm in Celestial Conduit, and I do have Slicing Winds, so I'll just point out real quick, none of this stuff will show, right, until you're in combat. Once you're in combat, all of those kind of like cooldown based Weakauaras will pop up on your screen. So again, right when you enter combat might be a smidge overwhelming. Afterwards, when you start to use stuff, then as things pop up on your screen, it's a little easier to handle visually. So allow me to go screw this up for everybody. In combat, use my buttons. Schwinn is active, Storm of the Fire is active. Right, there's my Jade Serpent thing. Oh, there you go. See, Whirling Dragon Punch. See, it's yellow telling me I should use my energy. I've got my Slicing Winds thing. It's yellow telling me I can use my Tiger Palm, right? Because my energy is low. It's not yellow. Yellow. Right, that's kind of how that's set up. You see there's a nice little lull. Well, lull being the inoperative word, but also my Storm Within Fire is gone. That's what I mean by it turns red when you have max stacks for Teachings of the Monastery, right? But yeah, that's it, right? Whenever you use your Strike of the Windlord, there's your Jade Serpent thing. Oh, sorry, I forgot to use my stacks, right? But that's that for like kind of like the base thing for Windwalker. The more you play with it, I think the easier it gets to understand, and I've really, personally, selfishly, enjoyed the fact that they'll turn yellow to help me understand better what's going on with my, like, if I am near capped, right? Like, and as you can see, I'm being such a terrible person and using it a lot to where it's turned red, right? And I'm sure I could do better, team. Sorry, but that's it, right? That's it for at least the Celestial Conduit one, but mostly just kind of like the base stuff for Windwalker. If you are a Windwalker main, this is probably like, you could make this way better than I can, but I've just enjoyed it as a result of it. Again, math stacks of Teachings of the Monastery, all my cooldowns are back. And this is what I mean by there's nothing that tells me that these are off cooldown other than my own eyeballs and seeing that they're off cooldown. So, which personally, just as I'm dabbling around in Windwalker, can be a little, easy, I guess in air quotes, to miss because of all the other stuff that you're paying attention to and tracking. So, wish you guys the best, Windwalkers. Let's look at the other stuff that you would track, mostly just the Emperor, the last Emperor's capacitor, and then the stuff for Shado-Pan. And I'll see if I have something that, yeah, that loads it out. Wisdom of the Wall, right? So this is where you would see the different buffs that the Wisdom Wall will give you, and then what that's tracking, and then Emperor's Last Capacitor. I will try to sec up to it. More likely, we're gonna just cut to when that's true, and then same thing, right? All the same stuff. And see our flurry strikes. So we're already at 10, and this is tracking like with Tiger Palm, right? You see, there was our second one, our third one, and now I know that my next one is gonna activate Wisdom of the Wall. And the whole flurry strike stuff. And there we go, I got whichever one the green one is, right? Again, as you play it more, I would imagine you'd be like really more in tune to it. Oh, and of course I'm getting 10 really easy because I'm attacking an old dummy. That's why it's that's why it's stacking up super fast. But that's really the only difference between the two of them. And again, forgive me, I'm not like trying to play super well. I'm just showing. This is your, I think it's like flurry strikes, right? Flurry stacks when it goes up to 10, and these are your flurry charges, or I might have flipped those around. But basically, once this is at 3, your next one is going to consume those and then activate Wisdom of the Wall, right? So while there really isn't a lot to, like, I guess, track for Shado-Pan, it seems like it's all just a little passive stuff. There is at least a little bit to it so that you can, you know, game it a little bit and know what's coming up with your stuff, right? Ta-da! Yellow, meaning I can do, and no, yeah, there's that fun button, right? Letting me know the duration that was left on my crit chance, yeah, for my kick, right? And I can see I'm building up towards. Oops, I just overcapped. I'm building up towards my next flurry charges thing, my next flurry strikes. There it goes, hooray! Right, and now I know this is the one that's the Shadow AoE one. Ah, yeah, there we go. And there is the last Emperor's capacitor. Right, voila, so that you know when it's available. But that would be the change from what you saw with Celestial Conduit. A lot of the same stuff. We weren't tracking Slicing Winds, and we weren't tracking Strike the Windlord. I probably could then make a conditional thing for this if you don't like where it is. I used to have it in the same spot as Slicing Winds, but I need more screen real estate. And so what I may do is do a conditional thing where if you aren't talented into Slicing Winds, then that moves down, and if you are, then it stays up there. But other than that, that's it for the Windwalker Weakauaras. Again, I have a lot of fun making these things, especially if I feel like it came out cool looking. If you feel like there's something else that needs to be tracked, whether it's for base Windwalker, for not Heart of the Jade Serpent, it is part of it, but Celestial Conduit and then Shado-Pan, just let me know in the comments. Otherwise, hope you have fun. Again, I hope you found that helpful. I do intend to make a Weakura pack for every spec. So if I haven't made one for the spec that you play or that you'd like to see, just comment that down below. Again, I do intend to make one for every spec, but if I see people asking for it or really wanting one, I'll probably get to it quicker than if I just do it on my slow, leisurely pace. I hope it will enhance your gameplay. Like I said, it's all about gamifying the game and making it more fun and more immersive for you, while also helping you improve as a player because the information that you need to react to is hopefully more readily available. If you have any other questions about this Weakura pack that you just watched or any other ones, again, please feel free to comment. I try to be as interactive as possible in my YouTube section. And that's it. Hope you have a great day.